All right, I'm going to bring the meeting to order. If we will catch our seats. And Amanda, if you will, please do the roll call for us.
Mr. Perkins?
Here.
Mr. Stevens?
Here.
Chairman Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
And Ms. Benson?
I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you will join us for the invocation and the pledge, please stand. Let us bow our heads. Almighty God, we come before you today with grateful hearts for the opportunity to serve our community through the work of the Emerald Coast Utility Authority. We thank you for the trust placed in us by the citizens we represent. Grant us wisdom, fairness, clarity as we discuss the matters before us. Help us to make decisions that promote stewardship of our natural resources, protect our environment, and ensure reliable and sustainable services for everyone. Bless our board members, our staff, and all those who labor each day to keep our systems running and our community strong. May our discussions be respectful, our actions be guided by integrity, and our outcomes serve the common good. We ask you for your guidance and protection over our families, our co-workers, and the people of the Emerald Coast. All this we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Pledge allegiance. Thank you. We move now to the adoption of agenda. Do we have any changes, additions, or Mrs. Benson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to add something under unfinished business. I'll call it clean community.
Clean community is added to unfinished business. Mr. Williams. Thank you. With that, do I have a motion to adopt? Mr. Perkins?
I move the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Perkins, second by Mr. Stevens. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to public hearings, and we have none. So we move on to open forum, and I have no pink slips. See no one wanting to speak, so we move on to presentations. And Mrs. Benson is going to pull our Recycle Star for October. Microphone.
Number 5.
And the winner is Ronald and Sharon McHarris. Thank you very much for your great job recycling. You will get a sign in your yard and a certificate and some other things, goodies from the Emerald Coast Utility Authority. We appreciate your hard work. Also on our list for October, but not chosen as the winner, were Paul and Sarah Maxwell, John Dooley, Rebecca Hinkle, Tim Glazebrook, Barry Graves, Benjamin and Emily Ferguson, Jessica Alber, William and Shelley Reed, and Brittany Willie. Thank you very much for doing a fabulous job of Recycle in October. We move now to the approval of the minutes for the September 23rd, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move the approval.
Moved by Mrs. Benson,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Stevens. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to the report of the Citizens Advisory Committee for October 21st, 2025. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Citizens Advisory Report for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, 3 p.m. All members were present with the exception of Mrs. Benson. Presentations we had an AI presentation on automation and innovation about elevating the customer's experience. It was done by Hamid Razier, Director of Information Technology. He provided the committee with a detailed presentation on AI, automation, and innovation to elevate the customer's experience. Mr. Razier highlighted the ways in which ECUA is exploring artificial intelligence and process automation to enhance efficiency, improve response times, and deliver more personalized services. Mr. Razier also discussed upcoming initiatives aimed at integrating new technologies to strengthen customer communication and satisfaction. We had one General Resolution GR 25-134, a general resolution authorizing the payment of the maintenance contract with Tyler Minos for software support from 10/1/25 to 9/30/2026. It was motioned by Mr. Perkins, seconded by Mr. Kimball. The board approved the resolution by a vote of 11-0. Madam Chair, I move that we accept the CIC committee's report.
Would you like, okay, and you're moving item number 2, and Benson is, thank you, please vote.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That AI presentation was particularly helpful. Ms. Benson, I don't know if you've gotten to see it, but if they would forward that to you, it would be you'd find it very interesting.
It was very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perkins. I agree wholeheartedly. Passes 5-0. We move now to...
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. We move now to our consent agenda for today. I will have Mr. Woody explain each item briefly. We'll discuss them, and then we will take a motion. Item A is Resolution 25-135, a general resolution to authorize the executive director to execute a one-year extension to the water service renewals annual contract with Evans Contracting, Inc. Execute a change order to the contract with additional quantities of the bid items to be completed during the one-year extension, and authorize the transfer of project funds to provide an effective date. Mr. Woody.
This is an annual contract that we issue in order to help us be proactive. Oftentimes, maintenance on service lines happens on an emergency basis, of course, when they fail. And in order to avoid a whole series of those, because once a given neighborhood that was all constructed in the same time period start to fail, often we get multiple failures. So as a proactive measure, when we have lines that we're realizing are aging out, we'll contract, we'll identify the most problematic areas and schedule them for replacement of the entire neighborhood, the entire subdivision. And this minimizes service disruptions and emergency repairs and other negative consequences that come from assistant service. So what we're requesting here is a renewal of an existing contract. This would be the second extension of a maximum of 3 extensions with our existing contractor who has performed this work admirably for us in the past. Again, at the same unit price as in the previous extension.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question. If this is an annual report, why doesn't it have its own CIP?
Why does it have its own CIP?
Right, you had to combine CIP number RW818 with RW0031.
The 818 is what our usual annual number is. Sometimes the number of renewals we'll do in a given year are higher or lower. It varies a little bit from year to year. We put in the budget 1.3 million. We're putting some extra money we had left over from water service renewals to increase the amount this year. We're proposing 1.6, I think. Yeah, 1.6 million, so.
So it was budgeted for 1.3. We decided to increase it by 340,000 to get more done?
Just trying to accomplish more in a given year.
Okay. So there was no increase year over year in the cost of the service?
The unit price is the same. We're just doing more of them this.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Good question. We move now to resolution, item B, Resolution 25-136, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a purchase order with Jetback Equipment Company for the purchase of one 900 ECUA 12-yard combination sewer cleaner truck for the Regional Service Division and provide an effective date. Mr. Woody.
Let me first say, in general, there's a whole series of purchases of large equipment in today's agenda. This is the beginning of the year, starting October 1, so we're using funds available in the new fiscal year to replace some big equipment this year. This particular one is for replacement of a jetback combination sewer cleaner that the Regional Services Department uses. A very large and expensive piece of equipment, as you can see the dollar amount there being $636,000. The existing one that it's replacing, its scheduled for replacement, is 10 years old. We track the expenses that we make on our equipment, and a combination of age and or expense is what warrants a piece of equipment's replacement. So we determined that the maintenance and repair costs for this particular vehicle are beginning to exceed over a third of the cost of replacement of a new vehicle, so it makes sense to go forward and replace it. We have access to a Sourcewell contract where it's been competitively bid. We're making a recommendation to purchase this from a Sourcewell contract.
Thank you, sir. I see no light. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chair. How many of these do we have in the fleet?
Brian says 5. 5 and a spare.
Okay, so this will replace one of those.
One of the 5, yeah.
How often do we
Actually,
have
more
to?
likely, probably it'll replace, you're going to get rid of your spare probably and push one of the 5 down and make it the new spare.
So we were spending over $200,000 in maintenance on this.
Yeah, we've got that much. These are very, very mechanically intensive pieces of equipment. Not only are you maintaining the cab chassis of the vehicle itself, which is very large and very heavy, tandem axle, 10-wheel piece of equipment. It has vacuum equipment on it. It has tanks. It has pumps, blowers, hydraulic equipment to tilt and empty the jet vac. It's very expensive and mechanically intensive. So any one of those parts that starts to fail and have problems, the cost of maintenance goes up pretty quick. Fortunately, it's a pretty good market for these. If they're not too decrepit, there's usually a salvage market. We'll get a little bit of money back on them.
Oh, is that right?
Somebody else will buy them.
Okay, so we still will end up with 5 and a spare.
Yes, we'll still have 5 in a spare.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Good question. I see no further questions. We move to resolution, item C, resolution 25-137, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a purchase order with Aries Industries Incorporated for the purchase of one Voyager Sidewinder CCTV inspection system and an outfitted Ford Transit van for the Regional Service Division, authorizing the Executive Director to execute the purchase order with Aries Industries, Inc., and provide an effective date. Mr. Woody.
This is a very important piece of equipment that we use as a part of our preventive maintenance program and our analysis of the condition of the system. CCTV stands for closed circuit television. It's essentially a piece of equipment where we pull a small TV camera down through the sewer line itself, and using that camera, we can visually inspect the inside of a sewer. So we look for cracks, open joints, places where roots are coming in, perhaps where the places where the line has gone out of round is beginning to collapse, it's turning oval, locations where there are leaks due to poorly constructed taps and connections, things that lead to influent infiltration or structural deficiencies. And we can do that without having to excavate or dig anything up. Once we find those locations, we make a determination whether we need a point repair at an individual location or whether the whole line needs to be replaced. Maybe it's structurally in fair shape, it's leaky, it's a clay pipe, and it's time to be lined with a test-to-place pipe, something like that. So it's a vital piece of equipment. As for the other one, as like the other one we just discussed, this one's over 10 years old. It's got extensive service hours, so it's becoming less reliable. So we're replacing it. Because it's 10 years old, we're also, as fringe benefit, going to be getting a better, higher definition video system than what was available 10 years ago, better data recording and operator ergonomics, et cetera. $433,000, again, purchased through a Sourcewell contract.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, just how many do we have in the fleet?
How many in the fleet? 3?
With the replacement, we'll have 3.
Got 3 now. When we'll replace 1, and we'll still have 3.
Okay. So I guess they manufacture vehicles for a 10-year lifespan?
Depends a lot on the vehicle. At 7 to 10 years, I don't want to speak for our fleet manager. If you'd like to talk about that subject in more general, it really varies a lot depending on the piece of equipment. Sometimes it's a mileage issue, sometimes it's years, oftentimes it's hours. Some of these last couple of pieces of equipment drive relatively short distances to a location, but then the engine operates for 8 hours while it sits, not adding miles to the odometer, but still working.
Thank you. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, through the chair. Yes, it's definitely the idle time that's hurting most of it because they sit there at a place running, idling the whole time. Most of the expense, though, is in the body side of it for the CCTV and for the vac truck, like the pumps and so forth. When we're sucking up the water and the sludge, there's rocks in there and things like that that gets caught in to the pumps, and those have to be replaced maintenancely and stuff like that. But as of the CCTV, that's a 10-year-old technology. The resolution is like something off of a 10-year-old camera. So it's really hard to see certain cracks. The newer one, you can see a lot better. It's 4K. You can see a lot more stuff. But it does have a lot of issues electronically, and there's a lot of expense in the actual body of it itself more than the chassis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fitzpatrick. When I was reading this one, I thought, how much money have we saved with this industry, CCTV, because before you would have to dig up an entire pipe, I guess, to find where a crack was, and now you can just pinpoint it and dig up just a small piece. So technology advances are fantastic in the world of sanitation and water. We move now to item D, Resolution 25-138, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a purchase order with Trucks Works, Kenworth, for the purchase of 9 2026 Kenworth L770 side loader refuse trucks for the sanitation department, and authorizing the executive director to execute the purchase order and provide an effective date. Mr. Woody.
As equipment ages, including our sanitation fleet, trucks need to be replaced as well. In this particular resolution is for the replacement of 9 vehicles that we use for our solid waste and recycling collection services on the residential side. This plan calls for, our overall plan calls for us to reduce the service life use of the equipment to a more reasonable expectation of 7 to 10 years of average life, and that helps reduce maintenance costs, increase operational efficiency, and get at that point, that tipping point where maintenance starts costing you more than operating a new machine. Right now, we have a very old 2012 era and sometimes older fleet vehicles. 9 of these proposed purchases will be Kenworth cab and chassis with a Heil 28-yard body. 2 of them will be the Kenworth cab and chassis with Nelius bodies on them. All 9 of them will be diesel engine. Overall purchase price, $3,751,000.
Thank you, Ms.
I should also say this is also purchased through a Sourcewell contract also.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I noticed all of these are Sourcewell contracts. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What's the difference between the Magnelius Zero Radius and the Python?
All it has more to do with just what was available at the time. They're both very good pieces of equipment.
Through the chair.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you.
Great question. They're both top tier side loaders that are out there, and to Mr. Woody's point, that's what's out there right in this minute. That's relatively available because, as you know, we just finally got in last month, basically, or from 2022. So right now, I'm kind of looking at what's out there right this minute, and those are like the 2 best of the best that are out there. So. It's the difference between a Toyota and a Lexus, I guess. They're both very, very well built, top of the line quality stuff at a very reasonable price, and they have them in stock, and we can have them in the next 30 days. And with this order here, this will get us up to where pretty much all the 2012s now will be gone. So we can start working on the 15s. Yeah, the 12s they're down a lot more than they're up. So they have a 75 percentile down rate right now. So
Yeah, good news.
If I can follow up.
Yes,
Then
sir.
how many of those vehicles that we ordered are in from our previous order when we were waiting from 2022 and recently we ordered some?
yes, all 19 are in.
All
So
19?
yes, sir, and they're getting fit right now. Drivers are getting in them. They're extremely happy. Let me tell you, that's why
yeah.
Gary's here today. He
Oh,
can
yeah.
definitely tell you too that they're a very happy crew out there right now. So they love the board support with keeping the new fleet going. One, it keeps the customers happy too because we're not broke down on the side of the road and having to double back and try to do a whole residential area or whatever. So it just helps with customer service and definitely internal customer service because the drivers and everybody really, really appreciates it. So it's a different atmosphere out there right now. So please go out to sanitation anytime now. You'll definitely be, you'll see a smile on everybody's faces there right now.
Did I miss the expected date of receiving these vehicles?
That should be the next 30 to 60 days.
Next 30 or 60?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wow. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
They'll be happy for Christmas.
Yes.
Good to see you, Gary. Okay. No more questions. We move to item E, Resolution 25-139, a general resolution of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority with respect to reimbursement of certain costs and expenditures related to sanitation system improvements in and for the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority. Mr. Woody.
The previous resolution we just talked about was for the purchase of 9 vehicles. This resolution, item E, has to do with their finance. As we've done before with the CNG vehicles that Mr. Williams just asked about, we asked for permission from the board to pay for vehicles as they come in, and then once they're all in and received, then we go out for financing once. So what this resolution does is give the staff permission to use reserves, cash to pay for them as we come in, and then finance that entire purchase using proceeds from sanitation revenues to pay the debt service, and then reimburse ourselves from the issuance of this debt after the last of those trucks has been received. So we've done this previously with the previous 19. We're asking to do this again with the next 9.
Thank you, sir. See no questions. We'll move to item F, Resolution 25-140, a general resolution authorizing executive director to execute multiple purchase orders for unleaded gasoline, diesel, and dyed diesel fuel with Southern Energy Company doing business as Cougar Oil Company under the Escambia County Competitive Bid Contract ED 22-23106, diesel and gasoline fuel.
Our Ellison garage maintains ECUA's bulk fueling operations for the CWRF and Godwin Lane and Ellison and Warrington facilities. And our generator maintenance division also purchases dyed diesel for generator fuel supply. Dyed diesel is diesel that isn't taxed for over-the-road operations because it isn't used in a motor vehicle on the roadways. Meanwhile, Escambia County's Board of County Commissioners, they issue a bid on an annual basis for purchase of much larger volumes of fuel than we use. We're proposing that we again piggyback on the Southern Energy Company contract that Escambia County has with them. They've just recently renewed their second and final one-year renewal of the competitively bid contract that they did in 2023.
Thank you, sir. I see no lights on. So no questions, so we will move on to item G. Resolution 25-141, a general resolution authorizing the purchase of garbage and recycling cans from Schaefer Plastics North America LLC under the Sourcewell contract number 120324-SF3, injected molded rollout carts, authorizing executive director to execute purchase order, authorizing the funding from the project RT 902 residential container replacement, and providing an effective date.
Every year, both new and replacement cans are required in order for us to keep up with new service requests, customer growth, and replacement of existing cans that have been damaged due to wear and just age. Altogether, we have 96,000 residential customers and maintain an inventory of over 198,000 cans altogether. So we use 8,000 to 10,000 cans per year to keep up with that demand. This proposal is to contract with Schaefer Plastics under a Sourcewell contract for the purchase of 8,825 cans. Under this next year, that's a replacement ratio of about 4.5%.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you explain to me again how Sourcewell works?
Sourcewell is a agency that serves government entities, mainly municipalities and counties, but they identify, based on information they get from counties and cities, things that are very commonly purchased by municipalities across the United States, quite frankly. got a couple different regions, if I remember. And they'll put out bids on a regular basis on an awful lot of equipment and vendor services and like that. And they'll set them up in such a way that other municipalities can piggyback, or in other words, also contract with a vendor or supplier for the purchase of those items, meeting those specifications at those unit prices, without having to separately go out and bid them themselves. What that does is creates an economy of scale, because the vendor or contractor that wins bids could potentially contract with dozens, if not even hundreds, of other cities and municipalities. So they're very competitive when they bid those kinds of contracts. So generally, it's very advantageous when a city or county can find an item on a Sourcewell contract that meets their needs, be able to purchase something at a very competitive unit price.
Okay.
Not to mention it saves some labor internally with the procuring division and our procurement folks with not having to issue the bids, the delay that comes with that.
Can we determine the color of our recycling cans?
We do, yeah. We specify the color and the logo, and we have the.
I mean, not just the lid, but the can itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Our color coding is green for trash, and the closest thing to an inconsistency you might see is that our recycling cans are largely tan, but in many cases we've used trash cans for recycling purposes by changing the color of the lid.
Okay.
That's just us trying to be more efficient. So what really identifies trash from recycling is the color of the lid, not the color. We only use two colors.
Will we be able to purchase the can a different color for recycling?
If we want to, yeah.
I mean, the color we use, but just the can itself, not just the lid.
Yes. Tommy is the curing agent for that particular
Thank you,
purchase, so I'll
Mr.
let him.
Fitzpatrick.
All right, through the chair. Yes, sir. Yes, we can get the can itself different color. The reason why we haven't recently is, if you're not recycling, you know how you get two cans, you get one garbage and one recycle. And if we start to see where they're not really recycling, we try to coach them up to recycle. Instead of giving a completely different can, all we have to do is switch the lid, which is a lot cheaper. So the lids are only like $10 and the whole can's like $52. So
Okay.
it just makes it easier for us. We can just swap out the lid.
Okay.
And then that way the truck driver knows they can just pick those up from there. So it just kind of helps us out to, instead of having all different colored cans or all the same color, just the lids
Okay.
tells us what it is.
Makes sense. Makes
Yes, sir.
sense. I
Thank you.
didn't know.
Smart.
Thank you.
Very smart.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the great questions, Mr. Williams. No further questions. We will move to item H, our final resolution, R 25-142, a general resolution authorizing the executive director to issue purchase order of Valvoline 15W40 Premium Blue One Solution Gene 2 engine oil, AW68 hydraulic oil for the ECUA fleet operations, authorizing funding from FY 2026 Sanitation Department and the operating budget, and providing an effective date. Mr. Williams, tell us about our oil.
Yes, one of those being engine oil, the other one being hydraulic oil, used in the sanitation fleet predominantly, but also in other fleet operations. We previously issued contracts to two different vendors, one for each of those oil types. The Valvoline engine oil being from Davis Fuels and Oils, and the hydraulic fuel from McPherson Oil Products. We're proposing that we do that contract. Approximate total purchase, about $199,000, almost $200,000 worth of hydraulic oil annually, and about $90,000 on.
Sir, see no lights. So that concludes our consent items. Would anyone like to hold an item?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to hold item 9E.
So we will hold item 9E. Do I have a motion to move items A through D and F through H?
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second it.
All right, motion by Mr. Stevens, second by Ms. Benson. Please vote.
Vote up yet.
And it passes 5-0. Now we will go back to item E. Item E is a general resolution of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority with respect to reimbursement of certain costs and expenditures related to sanitation system improvements in and for the Emerald Coast Utility Authority or the finance of our trucks that we just approved. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question. So this is going to be like a 60-day turnaround based upon when we get the first truck, last truck. This transaction will take approximately 60 days of finance.
This one should be a lot faster than our CNG. The CNG, as you know, was drug out over a very long period of time. So these should come a lot quicker. I want to know the timeline a little better. I would defer to Tommy, but again, the plan being that we pay for them with cash as they're received. Then once we receive all of them, then we'll issue the debt service for all of them and reimburse our cash reserves.
Okay. No, he said roughly 30 to 60 days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most of them are on the lot now. They're just being prepped and all that with some of the safety equipment that goes on them, so they should be here in 60 days. I think this resolution here is about the purchasing of it. It's basically a financing. All we're doing is financing them.
There are IRS rules and regulations that require if we're going to do it in this way, that we have to have board permission.
Okay.
Because we're paying ourselves back. So that's the reason we're having to go through this process.
And when we say the authority, are we talking about ECUA or?
Yeah, the board.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So would you like to move item E, sir? E. Thank you. Do I have a second? Ms.
Second.
Benson, seconds. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. We move now to the budget report for September 2025, year-to-date. And Mr. Smith.
Madam Chair, I can give that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Justin was unable to be with us here today.
Okay.
I'll briefly review it. As of September 30th, which is the end of our FY25 fiscal year, the percent complete should be 100%. So if you follow in the column on the first page under wastewater, you can see there were only 5 items that came barely above 100%, but in aggregate for the entire program, we're at 87% for water and wastewater, which is very good. That number will creep up a little bit. We have some ongoing accruals that are still coming in, but Justin told me he's extremely confident that we'll be well under budget in water and wastewater. We did very sure. On the next page, sanitation, again, end of year, so at 100%, only one line item was at that number or above. Overall, we're at 96%. Again, although that may be closer to 100% than we were in water wastewater, Justin believes we'll still be under budget.
very good. Thank you very much. Any questions? Budget? Not. Forward to the Executive Director's report. Mr. Woody.
A couple of updates on some water production projects, and then I have a question for you about our November 11th CAC meeting. The McCorvey Well and Treatment Facility that Mr. Williams asked about on occasion. If you have an opportunity, if you haven't been by it lately, I would encourage you to do so. Well platform has been constructed where you can now see that they're laying a brick for the water treatment building itself that's coming up out of the ground, so you can kind of see the various features on the site. I'm pleased with the progress it's making. The next largely visible item will be when AC vessels arrive and be installed. That's still a little ways off, but we're making good progress. Over the 9 Mile water production facility, we've completed the foundation work. You may already know that the GAC vessels have been purchased. You can see them back in the woods if you know where to look. So we're finishing up the design of the waterline connections between the water treatment facility and the GAC, and then those will be erected. So they're making good progress as well. W and Avery, the foundation construction has been issued a notice to proceed, so it'll be moving on pretty soon as well. A couple good updates there. November 11th is the date of our next CAC meeting. This year, that meeting date happens to fall on Veterans Day. So far, our internal deadline date that we set amongst staff for submitting agenda items for that particular meeting has already come, and we only have 2 items currently on that agenda. That's a pretty light agenda. With your concurrence, I already talked with both chairs, I would recommend that we just bump those items to the board meeting and cancel the November 11th CAC meeting. Sounds okay.
Do you need a motion to that effect?
Not formally, I just.
Yep. I
sure
think
there
you
wasn't
see
any
everybody.
particular heartburn.
Everybody's fine with that.
Okay. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, sir. We move now to the attorney's report. Mr. Pugh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last board meeting, I reported that we had prevailed on the FDOT litigation by summary judgment, and we're waiting on the appeal period to expire. Glad to inform you that that period has expired. There's not been an appeal filed, so that decision is final.
Very good. All kind of good news today. We move now to unfinished business, and Mrs. Benson wants to talk about a clean community. Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Part of our mission is a clean community. We're in the sanitation business at ECUA. And I think that, well, first of all, we live in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. But sometimes it's not that beautiful. And you drive along certain areas, Fairfield Drive in my area, and I'm sure you all have certain areas where there's trash everywhere. There are mattresses, and they get cleaned up, and the next day it's worse. A year ago, Mr. Kohler and I met with the county administrator and Mr. Woody, and we did a pilot program to try to do that, and the cost was enormous for the ECUA to pick up this trash in these right-of-ways. The problem is, and I'm sure you all get these same complaints that I do, that people say, well, ECUA is not doing their job. You're in the trash business. Why aren't you picking up the trash? And the truth is, it's much more complicated than that. We have a bizarre model of sanitation where we have the individual residential customers. We have some other waste, commercial waste, which is a separate issue, but we don't have responsibility for those rights of ways, and it is very confusing for people. I went to, and Mr. Hayden was there, I went to a community meeting in my district a few weeks ago, and I was absolutely blasted by a citizen there complaining about all of this trash. And I hate saying it's not our job. I mean, I think that's the worst thing an elected official can do is pass the buck. But the truth is, it isn't our job. But this particular complainant it said that he was a county employee of the roads department, and I don't mean to criticize him. He was concerned just like any citizen. And he said that they are buying a huge number of grappling trucks to handle all of this. And his complaint was it was our job. And I'm sort of at this point where I'm tired of saying it's not our job. I would really like for our staff to take a holistic view of sanitation in our county and see if there's a better way to divide the responsibilities, even if it means contracting with the county so that we are reimbursed, because that senior citizen in Myrtle Grove doesn't need to be underwriting something that's not in our purview. But we need to figure this out and take a lead on how to make this community cleaner and more beautiful, and stop finding excuses, which are legitimate, and find a way to make it better. So my motion would be refer to staff issue of overall clean community and a better way to approach that. I'm always reluctant to refer something big like this to staff because they already have a full plate. So I don't want to say come back by the next meeting. But it's time to start thinking about that, I believe, and to maybe meet with the county administrator, maybe even have at some point a joint meeting. Let's rewrite the protocols. Let's figure out a better way, because the appearance of our community is a private property issue. It is an economic development issue. It is something we are all proud of this community, of every single part of this community. And I think we need to do a better job. And I ask staff to begin researching this issue. And that's my motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Benson. Mr. Stevens.
I just want to
We probably need a second to
We need a second to get it on the,
So I'm going to second it.
thank you.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to, for staff to start addressing ways to address a clean community. And we'll take discussion. Mr. Stevens.
No, I would just like to reiterate what Benson stated, and I'm sure I could probably speak for every board member up here that we've all gotten those calls from customers saying this trash or that trash, or someone's moved out, or it's on the side of the road, whatever the case may be, and not really understanding the distinction between what the county responsibilities are and what ECUA's responsibilities are. And then again, I spend my time trying to explain to them, about who's paying for it type of situation. The same thing, but again, I would love to have a solution where I don't have to explain that, because they don't really, they hear it, but they really understand it. They're like, you're in the garbage, you're in the trash and sanitation business, why aren't you all doing that? So it would definitely be something to explore with our county partners and see if there's some type of situation where we could utilize some of their manpower or vice versa, or get reimbursed. Obviously, we couldn't absorb this cost ourselves. I'm gonna let staff start thinking on that, but yes, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the county would be amicable to such a, because our counterparts get those same calls, vice versa. So I speak to Commissioner Berry on occasion about that very same thing when we're talking about whose responsibility it is to pick up trash. So I'm either referring people to his office or he's referring them to myself. So anyway.
Thank you. Mr. Perkins.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is where people just put a pile in front of a vacant lot or at the end of a cul-de-sac or something like that, and there's nobody to call it in. So I'm not as optimistic as Mr. Stevens about the county participating financially, but if they did, it might be worth at the same time rolling in the bulk item pickup automatically rather than a customer call in. If we can get some financial help from them, because a lot of times we just miss a lot of stuff with the customer call in. They just don't know. And when we picked it up on a certain day before, I mean, I know it was more money, a lot more work, but if we're going to get participation, it might be worth at least looking at that part of it at the same time.
Johnson?
And just to follow up, first of all, other communities have models. I mean, we don't have to reinvent this. We can look at what other communities do, how they divide that up, how they finance it. So I would hope that we can research into that. And to follow up on what Mr. Perkins said, that was part of what I was blasted for at this meeting. Oh, by the way, I think it was fine for them to blast me for it. They're not happy, and we're elected officials, and we ought to be more responsive. But they were very unhappy with the call-in for the bulk pickup, and I understand why we do it, and I think it's sound environmental practice. But when I used that line about replacing people's rusted garbage or rusted grills and things like that, they said, how many times does that really happen? And, oh, by the way, why can't you just do it? So, I mean, I think we ought to just, let's take apart this whole sanitation model and figure out how to put it back together. And I'm sorry to belabor it, but thank you.
That's okay, thank you. The one thing comes to my mind is a lot of those roads are state roads too, so we may need buy-in from our counterparts at the state. They have to go out and clean up their roads too, so they may be willing to join in and pay some money back if we'll just do theirs while we're at it. So, it is a long discussion, and I know, Gary, you'd have to have a lot more trucks, but it is a great discussion, and I think everybody would like to have cleaner streets, and I think it'd make us just a better place to live. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll support you. So we have a motion, and we have a second. We've done discussion. If you would vote. I would like to see that joint meeting as well. And it passes 5-0. Thank you, ma'am. We move now to new business. None on the agenda, but if you have any new business, I'll invite. Move now to board communication. Mr. Williams.
Quick
Yes, sir.
comment. The general resolutions format was different. Is that because of the software, or is that just the way we decided to do it?
Format was largely the same. Some fonts were certainly different, and spacing perhaps.
The layout is different.
Biggest thing that I saw was the pagination going from one page to the other didn't.
And at the heading, it was different. The GR was to the left and then up at the top.
It is repeated twice.
Right.
True.
So we just did it differently, not the software or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the difference between the Prime Gov that we had and the. Looks like you have something to add to if that's.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, there was actually an error, if you saw it on the display screen, that said resolution format. We've already identified that and fixed it. That'll be the last time you see that. Just a bug in the software. And not actually in the software, but in the template for the board meeting.
Yeah, it's
Thank
nothing
you.
wrong. I'm just wanting to know, where did the change come from?
No, I'm glad you said that because I noticed it too.
Yeah.
But you said that'll be changed by next meeting, that the number
Yeah, I thought
will
about
actually
coming
be
up, but I
there.
didn't want to disrupt the meeting, but we noticed it right away, took pictures, we already called it in and got it
Beautiful.
fixed, so it won't happen again.
That's okay, thank you. We,
No
yeah,
worries.
I mean, we have a copy in front of us, so, but it does, for the chair, it made it hard to look out and read from the screen instead of looking down the whole time. So everybody out there that had to see my roots the whole time, I'm sorry. But it'll be nice to have it up there with those numbers. Thank you.
Remember, be sure to log out after we adjourn.
Yes, sir, we will. And I would again like to thank my board for all their prayers. We had some great news today from my husband, so prayers. We move now to our second open forum. One of the few that has a second open forum. Have no speakers again, so we will move for a motion to adjourn. Mr.
Second.
Perkins. And seconded very quickly by Mr. Stevens. Thank you. Please vote. And it passes 5-0. Whoop, I got a little ahead of you. Passes 5-0. And I would like to thank you, Amanda, for a great job with this new system.
I think it
it's
flows a
harder.
lot smoother. I think we need to forget everything we ever learned from PrimeGov.
Right? I think it was a lot harder on Amanda than it was on us, so you did a great job. Thank you very much.